Swing low, sweet chariot. Bosh! The English let a home victory slip away through their wee fingers, but it doesn't get any easier with the rejuvenated, renewed Wallabies coming to town. But before we get started, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and turn on the bell notification so you know when we upload. Hi guys, welcome to Rugby Heads, powered by the Peak Athletic Club. My name is Sione, and joining me are our regular rugby nerds, Alfonso Horomia and Nemani Nandolo. Welcome boys, welcome.
Welcome mate, how's it going?
A lot of rugby to unpack and to discuss with all the teams playing pretty much this weekend. But quick little rundown of today's show. We start off as always, performers of the week, our opportunity to give flowers to the players who stood out for us over the weekend's play, and then we go around the grounds. So the Ordination Series debrief and preview of the upcoming games, and then we update the URC English Prem and the top 4 team. But Nems, you want to start us off with your top performer of the week?
My top performer of the week had to go to Mark Talia.
Yeah.
Thought he was impressive when he played, came on. Actually, I got 2. Can we say 2?
Yeah, mate. No rules, mate. You can carry on.
No rules, but so that game was actually a good game. So I went with Mark Talia purely because he'd come off.
Yeah,
and he got subbed off, and there was a thing on his camera, like, you know, when they show the bench, and he's just sitting there, like, literally something I probably would have done in my time. We already taken my strapping tape off, and but he looked like he was already down and, like, you know, ready to finish up. But he'd come on and scored the winning try, and I just thought, like, for people who don't understand, probably will know, like, the mindset that changes from going from cold to hot. You know, and particularly in a big game like that, I thought, speaking from a psychological point of view, like, he was really, like, he just came back on and it's like nothing happened. And I think people who, you know, play at that level, you know, we as spectators will watch that and just say, oh, yeah, mate, it's his job. But it takes a lot to do. And I thought he was good. And also Marcus Smith in the losing team. Yep. Mate, honestly, if it wasn't him going off, I think England would have won the game. But I think we'll delve into that a bit later on. But Marcus Smith again, the thriller from Manila, my fellow brother. You like that one? Big shout out to him as well. Who loves the carver, So he's pretty much quarter Fijian anyway. So.
Claiming.
We'll get into it later. I was going to get into it, but we'll be here forever. But Fons, who was your top performer of the week?
Yeah, I had Marcus Smith as well. I thought if they didn't sub him off, they were going to go close to winning that game very much. Him, and I also had Darcy Graham for Scotland, the winger. He carved up. You know, Scotland got some good wingers at the moment, and they're looking very sharp. So we'll dive into that a bit later too.
Yeah, shout out, 4 tries, unbelievable. He was also mine, but I had a backup because I knew someone would call his name out. But my backup was Adam Hastings, the 10 for Scotland. We all know that he's not the Messi of rugby, and he's the number 2, but he was playing like he was number 1. But especially in the second half when he set up that line break, which eventually turned into a try, just that little flick pass under pressure was unbelievable. So they've got a lot of talent. Even the ex-Kiwi Glasgow 10 made his debut, and so they've got 3 decent world-class 10s there for Scotland. And mate, we all picked Fiji last week, but mate, Scotland are a scary sight for even the Springboks this coming weekend. But we'll get into it. We'll definitely get into it later in the preview. But start off with the All Blacks versus England. Nems, thoughts on the game and who stood out for you?
Well, mate, I'll tell you what, boys. I wasn't actually going to watch the game. I thought I was just going to wake up in the morning because it's 1:30 and then Fiji played 4, right? Yeah. But fate has it. Fate had it. The rugby gods woke me up because my dog was actually sick last night, so I didn't sleep the whole. So I ended up watching the whole game, which was, you know, he's better now. Mongrel cost me arm and a leg this morning, but mate, honestly, like, it was a game that had its had its frustrating moments, and then it had its, like, you know, when I say frustrating moments, like things that the All Blacks don't do. You know, that don't usually, like the drop balls or the tackling, like the tackling the player without the ball.
Yeah.
Like 3 of them, like, just, I think things that we don't expect the All Blacks to do, and when they did it, you're just like, that was probably frustrating. But I really loved the kick. I really loved like the technical game aspect. They got into the kicking duel like I've been harping on forever, and like playing in the zones, and they kept targeting Freeman. The Bowden Barrett kept targeting Freeman down that side of Talia, who was actually good under the high ball. But yeah, it was just frustrating in that sense. But in saying that, from New Zealand, but in saying that England, I thought England played well. Yeah. I thought they held their own in defence. Obviously, New Zealand scored all the tries, but they just took their opportunities, and so many standouts for me against Satiti. That guy, man, we talk about him. Not only us, there's other rugby shows that talk about him. Marcus Smith again. Why the hell did he come off? Obviously Kiwi supporters would have been happy when he came off. I mean, I think that was a turning point. Plus the front rows that came on for England.
Yeah.
It was just there was so much in that game that turned it. That could have went either way. Again, the scoreboard, we called it. One frustrating thing for me, and England do this all the time, and I remember playing in England, they used to always, Saris do it all the time, was the cheering, the choo-haring. When they make a mistake and it's like, you're just like, bruh, calm down. And so one of their locks put a shot on, who's the lock for the All Blacks?
Tupou.
Tupou, the guy, the dreadlock, put a shot on Tupou. And he gets up and he's like,
yeah.
And I was like, gee, you guys are down by 10 points. Yeah. But just like stuff like that irritates me. But I mean, that's what England are. That's what they're good for, and they back themselves, and fair play. But yeah, I just think All Blacks mistakes, that what we're not used to seeing, sort of kept that game alive. And again, Marcus Smith, 4 from 4, was it, or 5 from 5?
Yeah, I thought. I actually thought England were the better team, but to New Zealand's credit, they didn't play well, but they still won, just like the Springboks have been doing. But Fonz, your thoughts on the game from a Kiwi perspective, and who stood out for you?
There's a bit of a what-if game. I mean, if the All Blacks, there are a lot of handling errors, from both sides, really, and they bombed a few tries too. So again, discipline. Discipline's a big thing for the All Blacks at the moment. I talked about it earlier in the year, those penalties, keeping teams back in the game. Obviously they know it's something they got to work on, especially against Ireland coming up this week.
Yeah, huge.
But I would say a lot better from the bench, the impact. Yeah. Coming off the bench, I thought a sophomore Moore come on in the 3rd minute and had to play 77 minutes. So, that's a big ask. You talked about it, Nems, about obviously being mentally prepared. He wouldn't have thought he would be going on after 3 minutes. So he quickly had to, turn the switch. For him, big Paddy Tuipulotu, I thought he played well again. He carries hard, Even the front row, Offa and Tossi. They come on as well, just, big bodies. But, from an English point of view, you'd be kicking yourself, because I think not just this game, but all 3 games this year against the All Blacks, they were there for the taking. All 3 of them. And, to come away with no wins, it's obviously they're thereabouts, England. I would say, they have a few errors in their game as well, you would say. But Marcus Smith is huge for them, and he's quickly showing, there are a couple of 10s there that we're looking at, but I think Marcus Smith's their guy moving forward into the future. So, again, and the obviously Wallace Satiti, what a game from him.
Unreal.
His work rate is unreal, and he carries hard into contact. And that offload he set up Talia in that first try, I mean, that was awesome. But Talia should have never scored that second try. He beat all those defenders down the side too.
No space too. Oh, crazy.
Oh, mate, slippery, isn't he? So, it was a good game. I'm still recovering from last night after that. So I had a few more after we won, so I was quite happy.
Oh man, mate, you got to give Tossie a shout out. Like tight head is the hardest position, and he didn't grow up a tight head. He's only switched like during COVID from the back
Number
row,
8, eh?
number 8 into and he chose the hardest. Like Lou said, you can get away with cheating and not so much weight, but tight head you got weight coming from both sides, like every side. So and he did really well. He was eating up that Baxter from England, which is mate unreal to do. And then shout out to Offa, did a good job on Colsey as well. So mate, it was a good battle in that second half.
Mate, they say tight head props, eh? Pockets ain't empty, cuz.
Yeah, mate, it's a good move if you're good at it.
He's a very smart man, mate.
Yeah, I'd make the switch to tight head, and then my scrummers go rattle, and I might just go back to the loose head. No, pockets are still empty. So yeah, but Nem's touched on it. That substitution, taking Smith off, having one of his better games, the confidence was up, and it is a momentum game, and he swung it with that intercept, and then he didn't panic, he didn't take the first route for that pass, and then he passed inside, and then they eventually scored. But what were your thoughts when they made that sub? Like, what do you think Borthwick's idea was bringing on, making that sub?
Well, bringing someone on like George Ford, particularly that part, was at 20 minutes to go.
Yeah.
I knew straight away it was when they brought him on. I was surprised they would bring him on, but I probably feel that that George Ford, he knows how to close a game out in terms of protecting the lead, as opposed to Marcus Smith, who wants to play, and I guess the opposite of what protecting the lead is. So what's that? Going out with all guns blazing. And the biggest risk you have there is then, if you play a lot, then there's room for error. So whereas George Ford, like he did plenty of times, just come on, kick, and just settle the game down. I don't know if you'd see him in the background or the camera, he'd be like telling the guys to settle it down. But and I've been in teams, I've played with George and played under Steve, and we've done that where we're up by that much, and George Ford is good at closing out the game. Like might not have been that game, but I've been in games with him where there's 20 minutes to go and we're literally just pegging the corners, taking points, pegging the corners, and becomes it's protecting the lead. Yeah, and I think that's what they probably tried to do there.
And you think to last year's Rugby World Cup, that first game against Argentina, they lost someone to a red card, and then George Ford closed it out like with one man down. So exactly what you mean.
Things like that, and I've seen it firsthand because I've had to chase all those kicks. But when they bought Mark, but I think that wasn't the right time to do it because. Yeah. Marcus Smith was actually fighting fire with fire, if that makes sense. Yeah. And I honestly feel if Marcus Smith was on the field still and played the full 8, I reckon they would have won the game. Yeah. I reckon that game needed a brilliance because, England started to go back into their shell and play that protective game. And the All Blacks, the team that the All Blacks are, they would have planned that. They would have known George Ford's coming on, right, guys? They're going to protect this lead. We go up another level. And we saw that, right? Yeah. So with Marcus Smith, different story. He'd be trying to, like he did that intercept. Mate, you wouldn't be doing that. You'd be trying to, So, I just think big mistake from England. Marcus Smith, you could see the frustration on his face when the camera shone him on the sideline, and but not taking away George Ford. And I've said this, he's probably one of the players that I've played with that has the best rugby IQs ever. Him and Steve Borthwick, rugby IQs are high. I mean, obviously they didn't win the weekend, but you know what I mean? So, it was just a big call. It was a big call to play him. He'd been injured. He's been out for a while. Henry Slade, I was surprised too, going back on it, that they played him. He had only played 50 minutes.
Oh, right, yeah.
So it was a big, it was a surprise sort of, team they went with. But, you just don't do that against the All Blacks. Like, you just got to throw the kitchen sink at them. Yeah. Start playing conservative against the All Blacks. All right? Because, you hardly ever. When does a team ever, take the lead of that match unless you're the Springboks or like you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I just feel that they just need to throw the kitchen sink. What Marcus Smith was doing, they were dominating. They would, and again, New Zealand were worried. Like they were like, I feel they would have been like, well, fuck, this is this is unpredictable. He's unpredictable, but because we know how England plays, right?
Yeah.
Very conservative, but I think in any other team, Marcus Smith would be. He wouldn't be coming off, and it's just frustrating to see that. Hopefully, they've learnt their lesson.
But it did keep our multi alive. We only had 2 games, but we did get the All Blacks by 1-12. So thanks to Nems on that call.
Thank you very much, mate.
However, in the next game, we needed Fiji to win 1-12.
I'd actually want you to go back to our show before last week. Before the thing, and you told me the thing.
True. Totally. That's right. We tricked you into. Okay. We should have listened to your first.
Just listen to me, mate.
So
I think I said 20 plus too.
But Scotland put away Fiji with a massive win, 57-17. He didn't start well for the Fijians, losing 2 to the bin early. But Nems, thoughts on the game, and who stood out for you on both sides?
Oh man, that was a frustrating game.
I was awake, so I'm like, I might as well just go to sleep and just watch the highlights. But I was like, nah, they're coming back. They're coming. I'll stay awake. But
I was on the All Blacks buzz, so I was like, nah, we've got this. And that slightly went down when, mate. So look, first of all, I didn't want to. I went straight on the comments and seen all the comments, and like I love, now that I'm not playing anymore, and I always go to the comments and just get a gauge. Like I know what I'm thinking. So funny. Before I go into the game, I just want to say, before this tour started, a lot of our Fiji people or supporters were like, forget the European-based players, forget them. The Drua is the future. Like, you need to go with the Drua. And I was just like, sweet, And so, and then post the comments, all I hear is in Fijian, they'll be they, or like, F you's all Fiji, and we should bring the European-based players. Like, anyway, so it's fucking, we can't, we're bad supporters, Fiji people, but they're ruthless. But that game was, it was frustrating. You giving away 6 penalties in 6 minutes, 2 yellow cards before the half. When Frankie goes away and does something like that, like, it wasn't a pleasant game to watch. I think it became a point a minute there after 25 minutes. Yeah. And then, so, I won't go into who played well, who played didn't, but I do know this for a fact. As you all know, the European players couldn't play.
Yeah.
So they can play next week. Your wingers, one in Golo, Chuta one in Golo, Weiss neither level, Josh Tuisova. These guys are coming back, right? So predominantly the Fiji played was their second team. And it's all their Drua boys, right? So it's all the Fiji Drua boys. In hindsight, it's good for them, to go and get that experience and get a beating and get a flogging. Because I'm always thinking back to Super Rugby. I think it's going to be great for them. But I think we were exposed in a few areas, particularly, look, I don't know too much about the forwards, but in the backs, just the 12-13s I thought were just disconnected. Yeah. They were just making easy breaks up that line, and it just comes back down to inexperience. Guys who are not experienced enough, and hopefully they'll learn their lesson from that. Like I said, they're going to be welcoming the big dogs back from Europe, and that'll change the dynamics of the squad. But I don't even think Scotland were that good either, to be fair. Yeah. I don't think, if that team plays against South Africa or the All Blacks, or you're not going to be doing that stuff. You know what I mean? I just think Fiji allowed them to play that game. Mate, the contact defense was non-existent. You know what I mean? It was. Yeah. I don't think Scotland were tested. There were patches there where Fiji showed some glimpse of brilliance, of attack. At one stage they held the ball for about 20 phases. Yeah. But I just don't think Scotland were tested in that test match, and maybe if anything, it was probably a training run for next week. Who do they play? South Africa?
South Africa
or New
yeah.
Zealand? Yeah, so, but fair play to them. They took the opportunities, and Hastings played well, and I was really impressed with Tupolotu. He's just at the back ball. I love it. They're the sort of micro stuff that I love seeing, the skill set, and he's evolved a lot. But yeah, it was just an all-round frustrating game. Look, Fiji will come good from this. Well, they've got to, I would like to see Tuisova and Weissner the level in the centres for Fiji next game. I just think they need size there. Not saying that the guys that played there were good. They're a bit younger, know. And Chuita Waningolo's back. I thought the wingers were a bit inexperienced as well. So they're all young. Besides Frankie, all those other backs combine their test caps together. Frank Lamani has more caps than all of them. Do you get what I mean? So that shows you a gauge of where they're at, and they'll come good. But sometimes, they've got to face this tough love. But yeah, man, it was definitely frustrating.
I was just going to ask that to you, Nems. Because I saw the team list for Fiji, and obviously 22 out of the 23 were from the draw. Yeah. Which made me think that the rest of the boys are playing top 14 because the top 14 players were still playing this week.
The cut-offs this weekend coming. Because Scotland also had boys missing as well. The European.
Yeah, Finn Russell wasn't playing.
And because it's outside the test period that you talk about, isn't it? So, I thought so. But, just to echo what you said was obviously the discipline. In that first 20 minutes, that game was over pretty much. And it's just obviously silly little things. I mean, you're right. I think it's good for those boys to get exposed against, going overseas and playing against big crowds. It kind of remind me of Drua whenever they go to play a away game in Super Rugby. They're a different beast from when they're at home. And it's good to see them, play in that sort of environment. It's only going to be better for those guys. Yeah. But it was, I would say it was quite disappointing from Fiji in the end. Obviously, Scotland had guys out. I mean, but you're right, Nems. I wouldn't Scotland were good. I don't think that they'll be doing behind the back passes against teams in tight games. So look,
well, they earned the right to do that, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They did earn the right to do it. You're absolutely right. So I mean, they dictated the game right from the get-go, and Fiji just couldn't get themselves into it. And by then, it was just too late. You're just chasing after that. So hopefully, who's Fiji got this week?
Wales.
So we'll talk about that in the predictions, but that's a game Fiji should be earmarking as Wales, isn't it? So it's obviously that distance's just got to be a lot better.
Yeah. That's it. Bring it down to 5 to 10 instead of 20,
which is still massive. I thought Frankie still played well. I still reckon they should get rid of that rule. Like, if you can't pass it to your player and he gets knocked down, then it's your fault. You couldn't pass it to your player, just like in league. But the rules are the rules. I still think when Frankie came back, he did get the boys back in, and they did kind of close the gap a little bit before Scotland pushed out again. But and Scotland, former Wallaby Jack Dempsey and former Waratah, I thought he was great. I think the difference, like you said, the forward pack, they lost the battle in the forward, so the backs kind of had to go individually and try and spark something. The back rowers did well in the attack for Fiji, but just like you see the All Blacks, the difference is they don't want to lose that contact, any meters in contact, where Fiji like to go backwards and try and push them to the ground and then try and get the crawl where they're already losing momentum and they get cleaned out easy. So I think we'll get into it in the preview for the Wales game, but still some decent things that they can work on. And but I still think Scotland are smoky, and I might back them when we go into the Scotland versus Springboks preview. But
oh my word!
Oh my.
But All Blacks 15 also played a game against Munster. it was a packed crowd over at Munster as well. Entertaining game. Fonz, thoughts on the game, and who stood out for you out of both teams?
I'll tell you what, you got to take your head off to the Munster supporters, aren't they? They are so loyal to that club. What an atmosphere over there in Limerick. But good game to watch. Obviously, All Black 15 scored 2 quick tries there at the start, and then obviously got in a bit of yellow card before half time to Leawere. But second half, some of the X factor from some of those players, Stevenson, I thought played well. He's just so slippery, him. Also, Hotham coming off the bench, he played very well, I thought, as well. And Duplessis Karifi, on that stellar NPC season he's had, he's just keep putting his hand up. I know there's a few injuries in the All Blacks, so you have to wait and see what the injury lists are, but Karifi, he played well, and the Fabian Holland, the lock from the Highlanders,
unreal.
But man, I thought he was player of the match, and he was all class from him. So
again, Tomid Park there in Munster, always a special place to play, and their crowd, they love their rugby down there. You got to remember, like Munster, Limerick, or Cork, that area down there, they just breed Munster rugby, and it's so good to see. But also it's good to see, the level of intensity it was played at. I was really happy with who's the captain for Munster in Ireland.
Peter O'Mahony.
Peter O'Mahony, he played. I don't know if he's in the Irish squad this year, but mate, seeing him play, and he played really well, played solid. I think in the lineouts there, where Luetta got sin bin for it, I think he went up. But for me, Plummer, 10 for New Zealand. He's knocking on the door for the All Blacks. Obviously, I would actually go Bowden Barrett than him after that, and keep DMAC as that utility back that can play fullback, play 10, play wing if need be. And I just think Plummer, he's just got that size as well, and he played really well. Stevenson, again, Karifi, these guys are I think in any other national country, I'm sure they'd be thereabouts in the national team. They're just not gonna. I just can't see them getting picked for the All Blacks anytime soon with who's already in their position. You've got the back threes all sorted up there, and which sort of makes Stevenson a bit hard for him. And then you got Plummer. For me, I think Plummer
pushed
may get a chance. He's already played. If not this year, definitely next year. But Karifi, again, he is
unreal.
Duplessis, he's one of those players that's just going to be unlucky, like that era of when Dan Carter was playing. You had Colin Slade, you had all these guys who just, they just left. Jimmy Gopeth because Dan Carter was in the way, sort of thing. You get what I mean? I just think this is that thing, and I'd love to see Karifi in the All Blacks jersey. It sucks being an All Black selector and a coach.
I'll tell you what, Nems, the good thing with this tour, with both the All Blacks and the Wallabies 15, is that a lot of these guys, like you were talking about, because they don't go to South Africa anymore in Super Rugby, this is great for them to go tour, isn't it? And play against these these crowds, because if they're not playing in the national side, they wouldn't get it. So I think it's great for both Australia and New Zealand. We're sending a second side almost to go and tour. So very good.
I thought AJ Lamb in the centres there, I thought his combination with Plummer is just, because to the end of Super Rugby, those two were just unreal. But it's good to see them pushing in. We'll get into the Ireland versus All Blacks preview. Fonz, you did mention there were a few injuries, and we might see some of these boys kind of creep into that squad. Who were Cody Taylor will probably definitely be out. Bodie, did he get a head knock as well to the end of the game?
So who was the second name?
Bodie Barrett. Didn't he get a head knock and came off? That's why Talia had to come back on.
I think the only definite right now, I'd assume, would be Cody Taylor, because he went straight off and he didn't even look like he was going to come back on.
No, I saw him get knocked.
Obviously, they got those protocols, don't they?
Yeah.
So
10 days.
Oh,
yeah, something like that. But I'd assume Asafo will have to start against Ireland. So it's just pretty much his time. Bell would have to come in, and someone would have to drag her across from the 15, the All Blacks 15. So there's a few. Tupavai as well. He's another one they got injured.
Geordie got a knock to the knee. I saw him when he was limping off. So
so we have to wait and see what obviously what the official status are on all those guys. I thought, though, one position at the start of the year that they would have struggled was the locking department. That's actually come and done well in the end. You know, guys like Paddy and Tupavai, Josh Lord, and even Fabian Holland, who I think I wouldn't be surprised if he would get a call up as well. So it'd be interesting.
But Nems, who are the Irish? Who should the All Blacks be wary of in the Irish squad?
I'm trying to think.
It's the whole Leinster side, pretty much.
Yeah, James Lowe, the foreigner.
The nine.
What's his name?
Gibson Park.
He's been unreal. He has been unreal.
He's come into real. So they'll be dangerous. Obviously, it'll be a predominantly Leinster side.
Yeah.
But maybe it's going to be different without Johnny Sexton there. I think a lot of people I think it's going to be different to not have someone like him there. From what I've heard, talking to guys who played Leinster, played alongside him, saying that he was just very, very strict in everything he does, and if you didn't get the play right, he would that's a level of standard that he kept. And you do see the difference when he's not there. Be interesting to see, because now Ireland play the All Blacks. All Blacks have 1 week of playing together. They've got a game now, so they'll obviously be banged up. But it's going to be an interesting game. I think Gibson Park and James Lowe and that Aussie winger, what's his name?
Mac Hansen.
Yeah. Mac Hansen.
Yeah. So, those guys, Mick Hansen in particular, I think he's coming to his own. But then you've obviously got Bundy Aki as well at 12. He's going to be up for it. These guys are proud Irishmen to expert New Zealanders. No, I mean that in a good way. They're going to want to get up for this game. And again, that they seem to know how to beat New Zealand. No one does.
Yeah, true.
So, unless you're the Springboks. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I think for me, New Zealand, if they play. Remember I was talking about that game against England where they were those silly penalties, things that you just, I just think if they bring that into this Irish game, they'll get punished for it.
Yeah, they will.
Ireland are a bit more well drilled. They're all, I feel they're more well synced. Does that make sense? They're all synced in to their plays and what Andy Farrell's got from compared to England. England, sometimes you could just sometimes feel there was a bit of disconnection there, whereas Ireland are really connected, like forwards, backs, the plays, everything they do, it's all robot. And I think if New Zealand tighten up what they did against the bad things they did, or the not so good things they did against England, if they can tighten that up, I think they might be in. So get a win this week. But Ireland are going to be fired up. They're going to be and let's face it, New Zealand aren't favourites. They won't be favourites. They'll be underdogs.
No, they won't be.
Especially injuries. I'm guessing there probably will be more than just that one. Fons, do you you've been a big advocate of Cortez Latima. He got the start, but do you see them change for Roigard to start in this game?
I'd still keep it the same.
Okay.
Whether or not you give more minutes to Roigard, just depending on how the game goes, and get a feel for the game. I mean, obviously, if Cortez is playing well, then maybe keep him on a bit longer, obviously. But I wouldn't change it. I think it's good to see both of them, obviously battling it out. I'd just keep it the same with Ratama.
Yeah. And then, every every rugby show talks about this. We've talked about it for a while, and I was watching it. I was thinking about it while I was watching the game. I still don't think Artie is at 8. I still think they need more punch in that position. Just looked like him and Sam Cane were playing the same position, whereas they needed someone, a bigger body, to sort of help out Wallace in that sort of area. Do you see them trying to bring in a bigger body, like maybe Sammy Benny coming in at 6 and then Wallace to 8?
To be honest, I don't see them changing it.
Yeah,
I would like to see that. I think Sam Cane's gonna keep playing at 7 and Artie at 8. I think long term, looking at that's something that they'd like. I don't know. It's Blackadder. That's another name.
Injured.
Still injured.
Yeah.
So, look, Sammy Penny, that was obviously talked about. We haven't seen that punch that you normally get from him at the Chiefs in Super Rugby.
Yeah.
And, look at Wallace. He's punching every time through the line. So, I mean, I'd like to... But I'd like to see... I'd like to see Sammy Penny and then Wallace to 8 with Artie at 7, but I just think they won't change it. It'll be the same.
Okay. Now, for the punters, Nems, match predictions, margin, who you got, and score.
Oh, look, as much as I love the All Blacks, I just think Ireland by 5.
Okay, Ireland 1-12. Fonzie, you agreeing with that, or going something different?
Well, I got the draw.
Ooh. They're sitting on the fence, is it?
I got the draw.
Golden time, do they?
No, it's a draw, and everyone's going to be quiet and upset at the stadium because no one won.
That'd be good.
I actually think Ireland got this 1-12, so I'm going to go for Nems on this. So if you're a punting man, we're going to lock in Nems' call. Ireland 1-12. So that's that first game, and then Wallabies, the future world champions, kick off their tour this weekend against England. Now, Nems, who are some names that the English fans watching need to watch out for from the Wallaby squad?
First of all, you need to be watching out for Tane. He just changed his citizenship back from New Zealand to Australia. I'd love to see him start at 10. I don't care what you say. I think he's ready. He's a 10. Right, playing at 10, he's probably had more consistent game time than anyone, I think. Obviously not at the international level, but he's I just think he's ready. They'll be ready for him. I think he'll be good. But also, I mean, let's. So one guy I'd love to see in the 23 would be Harry Potter. Again, big fan of him. Whether he comes off the bench, I could see him more as a bench player. But even playing him on the wing, but we can't go past the $20 million man, Joseph Suaalii. That's why all our fees are going up next year down at Clubland for $500,000. But again, Suaalii, he's a guy that Drew Mitchell made a fair point at this, that if you're gonna pick him at the position you want him to play the British Lions next year, play him now. And that is so true. I think if you want to play him 13, start him on 13. Stuff the old, we'll start him on the wing, bring him in. Yeah. I feel that he's a 13, and I said this a few weeks ago, but I'm sure they'll be got their eyes on him more so out of everyone would be Joseph Suaalii. They all know Harry Potter. He's played there at Leicester, but
that's a good shout with
it'll
Harry.
Be interesting. I think we're all going to be keen to see how he goes.
Harry's a good shout because he'd know pretty much all the English players, so he'd know what he's getting into. His coaches
were at the England coaches. He's but
if you're putting Suaalii at 13, are you moving Ikitau to 12, or are you bringing someone straight into 12?
Some at 12.
Yeah.
Some at 12. Smoking Joe. Well, I call him Smoking Joe.
New one.
I don't know. I've never met him, but Smoking Joe sounds good. I'd put Tane at 10.
Yeah.
On the wing, I'd go Harry Potter. I don't know if we're picking our team, but I'd go Harry Potter on the wing.
Yeah.
Just because he knows how England plays. Like, come on, you've got to, you know. And then the other winger I would have, what's his name? Peach. Dylan Peach.
Yeah, he's been good.
Going for solidness. And then, obviously not looks. And then fullback, we're going with Tomasi Wright.
Yep. That's a good.
And 9, I'm going with Jake Gordon.
That's
not a bad backline. That's pretty good.
That's exciting.
That's pretty good.
And then they can all get more for the bench. I don't care.
But Fons, who are the Wallabies going to be wary of? They've England already had that first game, and they look pretty good, especially in defence. Who are they going to be wary of?
But obviously, we talked about him for the first half of this podcast. Marcus Smith.
Marcus Smith.
I don't know if he gets subbed at the 60th minute again. I don't think that's going to happen. I quite like England's got quite a balanced back row. They've got quite a few back rows there. Cunningham himself,
he's
one as well.
He was unreal.
Yeah, big body too. So look, they're going to have, it's going to be a tough day in that forward pack, especially. Yeah. Toje is another one. So the Aussie, Wallabies forwards obviously need to make sure that their set piece is solid enough.
Yeah.
But I agree with Nems. Tane, have Samu, and then not too sure if I start him. I have him at 13, but I don't know if I start him.
Nah, just chuck him in, man. I'm excited already. Just to
each their own. It's a dog world out there, son.
I would have him at 13 though. I think 13's be great for him.
You know what? I would not be surprised, and mark my words, that they start George Ford this week at 10. Because they'll bring a kicking game that Australia doesn't like. Australia don't like kicking drills. Sorry, I'm talking from my coaching point of view. But don't be surprised if George Ford gets picked. I just have a feeling they're going to play the kicking game against Australia.
Yeah.
Because Australia don't have the patience.
Smoking Joe versus Henry Slade. I'm betting on Smoking Joe there to make a few breaks. Holy.
Imagine that in Karevi.
That's a good centre pairing, isn't it?
Look at us, boys. Look at us, boys, dreaming about the good days before it happens. How good, boys.
Imagine that. That would be... Look, I think I'd stay up. I'd get up. No, I'm going to get up anyway.
Oh, man, I'm already up before it.
Sorry, mate. Sorry.
But match predictions. Nems, kick us off. Who we got?
Look, I really want the Wallabies to win. It's been a long time since they've won there.
Yeah.
England, I just think England are going to... look, if George Ford plays 1 to 12, if Marcus Smith plays, it could be anything. So I'm going England. Sorry. Sorry, boys. Sorry, Aussies.
Fons, who you going? What score?
I got 1 to 12 England.
Okay.
But I'd I want the Wallaby boys to get up.
100%.
100%. So,
what about the mood? We're all celebrating just a minute ago before we get match prediction.
I know, man.
And then our hearts ticked in. And, our heads ticked on. Sorry.
You got me.
I got England 1 to 12.
Yeah. We're all similar here. So we're if you're punting man, would go England 1 to 12. But our hearts going definitely Smoking Joe with a smoking bet on the Aussies. But then Italy versus Argentina. Nems, who for the Italian fans, we actually do get some watching from Italy. So not many, but for the two people in Italy watching, who's from Argentina do they have to be wary of?
Who from Argentina that Italy have to be wary of?
Yeah. Like we've already just seen Argentina go off in the rugby championship.
Oh, mate, they're a team. If they rock up and play 1 to 15, they're going to be dangerous. Obviously, you got Carrero, Matias, Moroni. Him play. I actually like him at 13. Sometimes I play him on the wing. I know for a fact he hates playing on the wing. Fun story. We're at Leicester together, and he always, when he trains, he never ties his shoelace up. Like, you think he's Maradona, man, like just casual, tranquil. I think one time he had to play in the wing. He's like, I'm not a fucking winger. Hey, So every time I see him on the wing, I always chuckle. But wary of him. But also Italy, Argentina are going to want to start fresh. I think they'll be gunning for this game.
Yeah.
They want to get their European tour off to a great start. And Italy. Where's the game in Rome?
I'll start with you. Not Rome, somewhere else.
Yeah, okay. So it's obviously not an important game to Italy, but they always that's true. When we play Italy, man, we're in like some farm town that breeds eggs. Mate, they'll be like, "Oh, Bruce, you playing in Rome?" No, we're playing in Cremona. It's 3 hours northwest south. Then we get there by buggies, but it's gonna be a good game. I think Argentina will go away with this one.
Yeah,
I just think that'll be good. Yeah.
Italy, they did perform well in the Six Nations, but Fons, who do the Argentinians have to look out for?
I'll be pretty honest. I don't know many of the Italian boys at the moment.
He's Italian.
Monty.
That's
Monty,
right.
yeah, he's from Savati, that part of Italy.
Yeah, well, Monty's there, and who's
Liner.
the winger for?
Louis.
Liner.
Louis
We
Liner.
forgot.
Oh, there you go.
Lewis Liner.
Another
But you know
great
he's
Italian.
fluent in Italian. Like, have you seen a podcast? He speaks fluent Italian.
Because his mum's Italian. So
Yeah, his mum-
Him and his
mum's-
brother, yeah.
Yeah,
So I wonder if little bro over in Brisbane up those ways speaks Italian.
Yeah.
yeah,
But
true.
I got the centre, Minicello. He has been massive in the URC, so he's one to watch. He went off in the Six Nations. He was injured in the World Cup, but he's one to watch as well. But match predictions, Nems, you already said Argentina. You going 1 to 12 or 13 plus?
30 plus.
13 plus. Fons,
Yeah, same Argentina.
13 plus. Okay.
My mate Chocobaras, he's going to go in for a double.
Chocobaras.
Chocobaras. I think Chocobaras is still injured. He hasn't been playing for Toulouse, but mate, I think Argentina are too good as well. The back rowers as well coming in. Lock in Argentina 13 plus. And then the Frenchies kick off their campaign against Japan. Names who are the French players, obviously. Who are the French players that the Japanese got to look out for?
Mate. They'll be fair giggling when they come on the field. I was like, Japan.
This is the only time. This is the only time we're going to see their top team when they play in France.
Mate, I think we all know what's going to happen, but I just think it'll be a good experience to share the field with the likes of Dupont, and I'm not sure if they'll play them, but
yeah, true.
Is it? It's not at the start of the France, is it?
No.
Yeah, it probably isn't. So no, it'll be good. I think Japan again. You just wanna hope they put on a good show, and get out there and have fun. Throw the kitchen sink at them, but yeah, mate, the French scrum. Like if Dupont's playing. It's almost like you'll have your phone in your pocket and be like, hey, can we have a selfie? Arigato gozaimasu. But, this is going to be a blowout.
So, obviously France, 13 plus, Fons.
Yeah.
Do you want to shout out any players or go straight to the score?
No.
I'll give a little shout out to Tatakawa, the fly half for Japan, but this is going to be, I think, very one-sided. I think it is at Stade de France, though.
Okay.
I think it is there, but it's going to be. I don't see France playing their top players. I can't see it happening.
Yeah, your cousin's going to find out what it's like to scrum over in Northern Hemisphere against the best at it. So, Dogo, if you're watching, I know you watches this.
Yeah,
off you got it, mate.
Yeah, lucky he's Mormon and he's already done his 2-year apprenticeship in praying. So good luck, mate. Lock in the Frenchies 50 plus, maybe 50 plus if you want to be. Lock in the Frenchies, and then Fiji, Nems. Fiji versus Wales. What do the Fijians need to do to get over Wales? Wales,
they need to rock up first.
on time.
No, without having a laugh, they actually need to rock up. Like it's
in Wales as
fucking
well,
hell.
because you can get lost in Cardiff there. So
Yeah, mate. No, I've had a few times down there I've got lost, but no, they just need to rock up. They need to minimise the penalties. Again, it's not going to be the team that played. There'll be a big change. Mickey Burns will change his side, but we all know what playing Wales, Fiji and Wales is kind of like the bogey. You know, we're that close, or it's always a close game. Scores are always 10 points or less. So, just minimise. I said this last week. Minimise the discipline. Minimise the, you know, like the game yesterday on Saturday. It was similar to like Fonzie said. The Drua, when they play away, it's like they just don't care. Like it's, you know, when you play like that, you know, when you're giving away penalties. You know, as a player, when you're playing at that level, as a player, when you're giving away silly penalties, you know, 9 times out of 10, you don't care. So, I just think they've got to. Wales are going to come out strong. They're going to be strong. They've got all their players from the UK that are going to come back. So, you know, it's not going to be an easy feat. I just think, get your discipline down and don't wait for the opposition to score 28 points for you to think, oh, well, let's go play rugby now.
Yeah.
No, it's got to come from the start. And again, like I said, the team's going to change. I would like to see Tuisova and neither level there in the centres, just to give that go forward. I think they lack that. And trust me, trying to run down that channel, you might want to think twice. Or good luck to you. 10, I was pretty happy with Caleb Muntz at 10. Thought he played really well. Good, 15, Ravula. Thought he got, you know, I thought when he got that little bit under pressure, he probably panicked a little bit. Again, that comes with time of playing at that in that level or at that level. And I just thought he just needs to probably calm down a little bit. But having those guys there, the older boys there in the team, it's gonna, I think, will change the dynamics of it all. And Frankie was pretty much the only one there, and you know Frankie's got his hands full. So when you've got that Weiss-Nather level and experienced wingers as well, that's going to help Ravula do his job. It'll be a different, it's going to be a different team. So Wales again. If I'm Fiji, I'll be worried about Tom Raffel, Leicester number 7, Wales number 7. Very good under the high, like over the ball. Just work rate, like he just loves to work. Not much to him. I'd be very wary of him around the rucks because he's good. But then going back to the forwards, I just feel like the forwards that played against Scotland didn't have a go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know if it was. I just felt and Fons touched on this. The Scottish forwards kind of sort of manhandled the Fijian forwards. You know, like. Dempsey, he looked strong. Like he was manhandling some of those blokes. I think, you know, and again, maybe that comes down to a bit of, nerves and whatnot playing at that level. But I just think don't wait this week against Wales. Don't wait. Have a go, but also just that penalty, man. Discipline. Yeah. I mean, I used to give away a few penalties in my time, but I sit here now. I'm not able to.
Well, just one thing, just like Nim said, like just rock up with and with a right attitude and just get stuck in. Because you know, let's face it, Wales aren't in a good shape right now, and they've been struggling for a while. And you know, this is a game for Fiji. That they'd be wanting to take this game
from last year,
especially after last year, the World Cup.
And
yes,
and this team,
that's still heartbreak as well.
A few of those World Cup boys are back. A few of those boys are back for Wales who didn't come on tour to Australia. So this will be a Welsh team, a little bit different Welsh team to what we saw in Australia 2 months ago. So Nem's prediction, what go your first answer? Just like last week, we're going to get your first answer. Prediction. Can Fiji do it? What's your heart say now?
Fiji by 3.
Oh, okay, mate. Fiji by 3. So Fiji 1-12. Fonz, you go on that as well, or do you see Welsh?
I have Fiji 1-12 if they rock up.
Yeah. Yep.
So, I'm fairly confident that Fiji can get a win over there.
Yep. 100%. Their set piece wasn't too bad against. The scrum wasn't too bad against Scotland. Got unlucky just with the binding a few times, but yeah, I'm backing Fiji to bounce back with a 1-12 win against the Welsh. Okay, and then the last game in week 2, we have the world champions heading to Murrayfield. Names for the Scottish viewers, who from the Springboks? You can name all of them, but who are the key for the Springboks to watch out for?
From 1 to the physio, watch them all.
The physio, even the physio got to watch that.
No, look, mate, Springboks are coming red hot, and I think probably, like I said, fair play to Scotland. They probably got a good outing, a good team run last week, because they're going to need it. They ain't going to be playing how they played against. I don't mean that. Like South Africa, like the forward pack. That's all I need to say. Is is going to come and play, and I'm actually excited about this game. This is probably one game I'm really keen to watch. Because they put 60 on Fiji, so I'm like, okay.
Also, Glasgow are the URC champions from last season, so they got one on the Saffers there too. Malherbe's out, which is a massive loss. Best tight head in the world, massive loss.
Injured.
Yeah, injured out of the squad. He got injured, and then Rusty brought in a winger to his replacement. So we'll see what's going to happen there.
Did the winger look like me when I was playing? Because, mate, it could be the same, mate.
Fonsu.
Oh, mate, that's a big blow. I didn't know that. But no, I just think that South Africa are going to be like they're coming in. They've got that fear factor about them.
Yeah.
Scotland might say otherwise, but we'll see what happens on the field. But I think
game.
South Africa are going to win this win comfortably.
Fons, firstly, for our South African viewers, 80% of them that tune in, who from Scotland do they have to keep an eye out on?
Finn Russell?
I'd say they're wingers. And one of them is actually South African. I'll do Duhan van der Merwe.
Yeah.
The most Afrikaans man you'll ever meet too.
Yeah. Well, I've heard whispers this week that the Stormers are looking to sign him for next season to go home.
Wow.
But it surprises me because I don't think they need wingers, the Stormers.
True.
So, but I'd be looking out for those wingers. But look, South Africa, they play their own game. They know what they do. They just control the tempo and play to how they want to play. Yeah. And it's, you know what we're doing, come try and stop us.
Yeah.
That's all it is with South Africa. So, Scotland, you're right. Scotland's not going to get the time and space this week like they did last week against Fiji.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Okay. Before everyone knows they always mix up the 10s, who would you put in 10 for the box against? It could be Finn Russell or Hastings. Are you putting Lebok or are you starting Andre Bollard?
Fuck, they're both pretty good.
I'd be starting Pollard straight off the bat.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be starting him.
And then Lebok off the bench.
Yep. Him. I think they also got Hendricksa was the one they pulled.
Yeah,
he was. Malherbe, I think.
He was good.
Yeah.
He's
the one that kicked the Curry Cup
Yeah.
final. That big kick at the end. So they brought him in as well. Who plays at 10. So not too sure. They might. I don't know. South Africa. You know what they're like. One week they're playing. They got 15 guys. Next thing they just changed the whole team around. They're just as good. So.
Yeah, I don't see them putting their first team, their strongest team, out for this one too, the South Africans. So
you reckon? Yeah, true.
Because I think they're saving it for the other big matches. But okay, who match predictions, Debs?
Yeah, South Africa 13 plus.
13 plus. All right.
No, that's sour from last week too. But I think 13 plus.
And Fons, you going same score? Or?
I got South Africa like 20.
Okay, 13 plus. Okay, damn. So lock in South Africa 13 plus. But if you're smoky, I'm backing Scotland, mate. I'm backing Scotland 1-12, 1-12, 1-12, mate. So they're locking those scores. Actually, remember to bet responsibly. It's just for fun, guys. Just for fun. Just for fun.
Just remember, you could be doing a lot more.
Yeah. All right, URC update. Fonz, you catch the action from the URC?
There was no games on, so
okay,
they're off. They're off for about a month, so that's me for the week.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, did your homework? I didn't even know that. And then I just realised that all the players were playing for Scotland, so that makes sense. And English Prem, NEMS, did they get...
Yeah. Nah, same thing. They just played the younger guys. It's in the other comp. It's called the Premiership.
Oh, yeah.
Something Premier. And I think a few second division clubs get involved. But
similar to the FA Cup.
Mate, yeah, but worse. Put it this way: if you're a top squad international foreigner and you're playing in that means I don't want you next season. So, thankfully, I never played in that one.
Lucky man.
Mate, that's all young guys. I didn't fight. It's no point.
All right. It was the Choco Block top 14. So, Mr. Judo top 14. Toulon are back in the winner's circle with a 21-10 win over Lyon. Racing the only away team to get the win this weekend with a 33-23 victory over Pau. Perpignan jumped out of relegation zone with a 32-13 win over Vannes. And La Rochelle keep the Pink Parisians in second last in relegation territory with an impressive 35-18 win at home, which included a decent kick pass assist for Big Will Skelton to score out wide, which is pretty impressive. But the game of the round for me was the Cass 4-point win over Montpellier at home. They were down 23-26 with 2 minutes on the clock. Cass worked over with some decent runs from Jack Goodhue, some decent runs into the attacking half, and they got to like 5 meters out and they went out. So then Montpellier had the line out just to throw in and try and kick it out. Throw it in, they went to set up the maul. Maravat, the second row from Cass, just reached over, stole the ball, and then they're attacking the line for about 2 minutes until their blindside flanker, Balion, crashed over next to the post, and they eventually won the game by 3 points. So, or 4 points. But my player of the round was from the Clermont versus Bordeaux game. Clermont ended up winning 32-27 thanks to a massive shift from my players of the round. Former Kiwis, Fritz Lee at number 8 and blindside flanker Peter Gastakula, both for Clermont. Work rate from Fritz Lee's, he looks like an open side, but I think he actually does play open side every now and then, but he played at 8. And Peter Gus, his carries, holy, looked like he was back at his best, mate. That guy is just impressive. But then after 9 rounds, Bordeaux sit pretty at the top of the table. However, Toulouse still have a game in hand tonight. They play Bayonne, who Bayonne's just outside of the top 6. So if Toulouse win, then they go into the number 1, but if Bayonne win, they go back to number 4. But yeah, that is the update from the Top 14. And then viewers' question. We had only one question. Maddie Levi, Aussie superstar, Aussie 7 superstar. She has said that she wants to have a crack at the Rugby World Cup next year, and she will only because she wants to leave a lasting legacy in the game of rugby to possibly be one of the best wingers or players of all time. So with that said, her coming across as a winger to the 15 game, the question was actually, Nem's probably answer this even best because he's actually played at that level. What will she need to learn coming from 7s to 15s, and what are some key advice you would have loved to have gotten when you were younger?
Yeah, obviously coming from 7's a lot more room to move. 15's learn to kick.
Yeah,
you got to learn to kick. Wingers these days not what it was 10 years ago, where you were just quick and skillful.
She's got an AFL background, doesn't she? She
happy days.
On her.
Yeah, she's AFL background, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Well, should be laughing then, because wingers these days, you want to be able to kick. You want to have a kicking game in your armour or in your tunk, whatever it is. But I think she'll go really well. I just think be willing to learn. you always get every now and the good players are the players that learn.
Yeah.
World Cup, I think she said she wants to play World Cup next year. The difference between sevens and league, I think it's more like just knowing where to be, learn the game, particularly in the defense. You've got to read it well. I'm not sure how they play, but some play 2 up, some play 3 back. It's a bit more knowledge to the game. But, yeah, don't change who you are as a person. That's what I'm going to say, though. If I was younger and someone said, to me, don't ever change.
Yeah.
One thing that and I'll say this to players that I wish was said to me was, you're in this position because your game brought you here, you know. So she's a freak of a player. Keep her that way. You obviously got to learn and get better, and I'm sure she knows how to do that. But the game's simple. The rugby game's simple. It's the people that coach these people that make it complicated. That's all it is. Don't change who you are, because what brought you here is who you are. So if there was any advice I'd give, it would be that. Be yourself, advice, big girl.
Alphonse, you got any advice, mate? When you were little kids, that you wish you would have gotten? Now that you're older, you know a little bit of positional advice. Positional advice as a centre.
Not really. It just comes with time, isn't it? Just comes with time. The more you play, I'd say this much though about the sisters, the Levi sisters. It is great to hear that they want to stay in union, because I did hear these rumours about the NRLW circling around them.
The money's crazy to say no to that.
They must be on a lot of money.
For only like a few months, and you're making that like 100K for, just for a few months. That's silly. But World Cup year, obviously, they might try it not in a World Cup year, but sorry, I skipped your advice. Yeah,
it's it's just great that they want to stay in union.
Yeah.
And it's actually from the horse's mouth and not rumours coming across from
Twitter,
that other code we don't really speak about. So, which I dislike. That's great. And I hope more of the Seven Skills put their hand up for the World Cup.
Yeah.
Because it's only going to be great for the 15-a-side team as well. So, good work to those 2 girls.
Yeah. My advice to my younger self, mate, cross over to union as early as possible, mate. You don't have the fitness for rugby league, mate. Stop kidding yourself, mate.
That's what my dad told me too, so I don't want to bring that up.
But any other advice is learn, like if you're a flanker, those flanker lines that you never, like when I came over from league, I had no idea about those, like not chasing rucks like that, like cutting, trying to anticipate where that ruck's going to be, just those little things. So, and once again, it's going to be up to like coaches for the next generator, which we have one sitting here. It's not broken news yet, so we're not going to break the news yet. But if you got a question, make sure you hit the link, add the link down in the bio, or just put it in the comment section. Some pretty decent feedback in the comment section, some funny ones, especially for our production, some of the songs that you use, mate, so talking to myself, make sure you give us some feedback, keep them coming, and thanks for listening, boys. But shout outs, Nems, who's your shout out for the week?
My biggest shout out goes to a nephew of mine, won today for the ACT Brumbies under 19, Samson Tagiri.
He's from here, is he?
He's old. Yeah, his old man played a bit of rugby back in the days, rugby and league.
Did you say for the Brumbies?
ACT beat Queensland up in Queensland at Ballymore for the under 19s, which was probably good to see. I was happy that the Brumbies won, to be fair. So looks like they got a pretty good system down there, back-to-back champions. Big shout out to Samson. But also to the Ralouni boys. There's a Ralouni, I don't know if you know, Jacob Ralouni used to play 9 for Queensland back in the days.
Yeah.
His son, he's got about 5 sons. So he's got one that's playing 7 as well, or 8 for Reds. He's another up and coming. So the next generation of, Fijian boys, where their fathers played at the top level back in the days, are all coming through. And big shout out to Samson. And I guess the Ralouni, I forgot his first name, but Jacob's son.
Yeah, shout out.
Who played, so
Looking forward to JT's kids making that step up as well. The next
Oh
generation.
yeah, some of them are playing league now, man. They're all coming up Rebang play. No, it's a Bevel Swiss one or two.
Swiss, the old Swiss. Oh, wow. And then Fons, who's your shout out for the week?
I got 2 shout-outs. One, is it Essex that make the Wallabies kit?
Yeah, Essex,
That Wallabies kit is fire. I think that's one of the best Wallabies kit I've ever seen.
Yeah.
With
The collar?
green collar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
so.
getting one.
That is sick. Absolutely sick.
Yeah.
That, and then also posted it up in our group chat, was the South American domestic final there.
Unreal.
Their competition over there is actually called Super Rugby as well.
We should probably
But
learn
it's
something.
But I don't know any of the teams. But Thomas Kabali used to be the halfback for the Brumbies. He was playing. So I think it might have been his last game. He's like 30, mid to late 30s. So, mate, what an atmosphere. You know, I didn't even know Argentina had a competition like that.
Yeah,
It's
crazy,
amateur,
yeah.
bro.
Massive.
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
Amateur
Yeah,
sports, no one gets paid.
Yeah, it's just it looked like a college game nearly. It's
Yeah,
just-
the celebrating.
that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Mate,
So
unreal.
you know, wicked to see. So that's my shout outs anyway.
Yeah, nice. My shout out is to the Tongan team from the other code that we don't talk about, MMT.
Oh, no, man.
MMT.
Disgusting.
It's the only thing we get to celebrate because, the Tongan squad that they picked for this Northern tour, we might as
Looking
well
locals.
stay home with the Manu Samoa team. But shout out to the MMT, mate. Thank you for giving us a little bit of happiness.
Hey, Katoa, that guy that kicked the drop kick, that kid that he's a Union
Newington,
player, isn't
from
he?
Newington. Yeah.
He was at Baker College. No, he's at Baker, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, was he?
College.
Oh, okay. I might as well made it up. Yeah.
Like a Spider-Man.
Yeah.
College in Sydney. Yeah, Spider-Man, yeah, but he was Union boy. Signed with
he's-
the Dolphins at school.
Oh, mate, he is good.
He's unreal, eh? Yeah.
Do you reckon he'll come back, Tony?
I don't know.
No,
We got some
Not-
decent
not in
10s.
Australia.
We got some decent 10s. The money's got to be right for him to come back. but,
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Andrew Johns is saying that he's good enough for New South Wales in the future once I don't even know their players, so I'm gonna pretend I know their names.
Cleary
Cleary.
and Laura.
Yeah. Please come back to Rugby Union, mate, and come and fix the Ikaletahi. Thank you, Dan. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Ironside, hope you're doing well, mate. We'll see you next week. And make sure you actually bet responsibly, guys. I got a few screenshots from guys that are taking it too serious, mate. I bet $5 each week on my multi. You guys need to relax. Tune in next week, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, boys.
Cheers, mate.